Stories with Jess Lujan.
Welcome back. We're talking about documentary being shot as we speak. Of course, Polly Eric Forbes. We have Wes Somoza, who's the director, and of course we have Mo, who's the producer of I Am Tomorrow. So gentlemen, tell me, you've spent quite some days now down south. Okay, what's your impression of the Chamorro people now? I mean, because you're having an insight now, Chamorro. I mean, this training, intimate knowledge now of Chamorro, because you're in the homes, you're listening to what they're saying. Polly's interpreting to you what they're saying in Chamorro and things like that. So you're having this intimate, again, relationship with Chamorros at this point. What is your take on our culture?
I mean, I think it's extremely fascinating. Me, myself, my parents, I'm a first generation American. My parents come from Trinidad and Venezuela. So a little bit, for the most part, being in Trinidad and living in, at one point living in Venezuela, it's really, to me, it's not too much of a culture shock, more or less. But ultimately, I think it's a completely new environment. I think the people are great. I think, like you said, it's very intimate. I get a bird's eye view, more or less, into something that I probably never would have seen or seen transpire.
Wes?
Well, for me, I live fairly close to a lot of my family,
Sure.
family and in-laws. So coming to Guam, you see these families all living similar to how I live at home, except they really are close, and they really do spend a lot of time together, whether it's meals, every day, every week, which is something I don't necessarily do at home with my family. So it really gives a sense of these strong bonds that are unbreakable. And
community.
Yeah,
Sure.
And the way they take in other people from other families that not necessarily are part of their family. I mean, that sense of community and stuff, you just don't see that on the mainland, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it is great to see that here.
Does this, I mean, it definitely makes the job easier. I mean, you don't go hungry. Yeah. But does it make your job easier then? I mean, when you go to a place where you don't know their people, you don't know their culture, but you've been here only a few days, you've kind of assimilated already. I mean, you're part of the family now.
I think we loved it the moment we touched down. For us, it's a great place to work. You're in the tropics. I mean, everything feels great. The air's cleaner. You breathe a lot easier. You feel a lot more energetic throughout the day. So I think the environment itself really plays a role.
Now, when you were presented, I guess, I don't know if you handed you a script or maybe just talking about what we going to do about this, did you know it was doable? Did you know it was, I mean, you say, man, we're going to go to Guam. We don't know what a Guam is, I mean, sometimes people in Congress say that we're going to tip over and we're a butt of jokes at times, late night talk show hosts, of jokes at times. So what was your impression prior to coming here? Is this something that was going to be easy to do, difficult to do, or what impression did you have in possibly undertaking this?
I mean, for the most part, for me, and maybe the same for Wes, probably the same for Wes, I mean, any task that you undertake necessarily doesn't mean, or you don't necessarily look for it to be easy. And more or less, if it isn't easy, it's something that usually you don't really respect or you take for granted, more or less. I knew it was feasible, that we could do it. There was never a doubt, but I knew there would be, more or less, there would be obstacles that we would face. But like anything in life, that's what happens.
Sure. So Polly, what have you captured so far? You've been filming now for 5 days. What have you got so far at this point? And
I think the most important two things would be some of our interviews where people really just opened up and said the things we all know are in our hearts and our minds, but maybe don't say. And Dave surprised and just said it. Things dealing with our history, political status, cultural issues. And the second thing would be just those vignettes of real life that you can't script. They just happen, but they really show out, because I don't want to give the documentary away and say too much. But just little things that happen a slice of reality, Chamorro reality, and we captured it on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, we were talking in the break about you guys when you were trying to get directions for something, and you happened to go. I mean, didn't stray, but you kind of took pictures of Big Navy, and you had to
That's a slice of real life.
you had to slice of real life. Now see now. You know, when and seeing that, because you experienced that, this is real life experience. You had to delete what you had to delete, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily happen back in the U.S. mainland. To some extent, yeah, yeah. But then so when you're talking about to people who talk about political self-determination or political status and all that, does it give you a feeling as an American that really, because we hold the same passports, but as well as when you're here, you're really not what you were in LA?
I can say this. I've shot on Miramar Air Force Base
in San Diego. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I pulled up to that base, someone came out, asked me what I was doing there. I told them what I was doing.
No
Went
problem.
right in. It was no problem. Today, we pull up, and I think whether or not we had a camera with us, it was like they're on top of us right away, flipping us around and getting us in the right.
The public relations office of Big Navy were very
Yes,
accommodating.
sure.
Wonderful.
Sure.
Teresa is wonderful. But I got lost. So I pulled up looking for directions, and one of our guys, and I should have communicated this to him, he thought he could just whip out the camera and start shooting. But the guys, the security guys didn't know who we are.
Sure.
So that's but no, the public relations people at Big Navy were accommodating.
Yeah.
They were wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, but you have a sense when people talk about their plight, about the Chamorro plight, about the Chamorro American plight here in Guam, again, you're not the same individual that you were in LA. You come take residency here. You can't vote for president and all this. So all these. So you're listening to these people talking to you, and you're seeing some of these. You're experiencing in real life some of these things that they're talking about. You're gonna be able to capture that.
We have.
Yeah,
We definitely have. So
beyond a doubt.
So we see that, and we understand it's a very complicated relationship.
Sure. I mean, our governor is out there right now with amongst the other governors of the territories and the Commonwealths, and talking exactly about that. About, hey, come on, you got to live up to the promises that you've made, and so Polly, in people talking, and without trying to give this documentary away, what are most of them talking about? What is the top of that menu?
I'd say the quality of life.
Quality of life.
The quality of life for our people, for our Chamorros. And of course political status is part of that, but I mean even beyond that, I mean just looking at the news tonight, crimes, drugs, it's a very sad story.
Well, in your
today.
profession, I mean, you
deal with it every day, right?
Yeah.
So we have to look at the quality of life of our people.
And you're in doing so, you'll be able to capture that as well. I mean, the news.
Yes. This documentary is not a whitewash, a prettying up of the reality. It's the real life, past, present, and looking into future possibilities.
Okay. Gentlemen, again, your view of Guam so far?
I love it. I mean, I just wish it wasn't 12, 13 hours to get here from LA.
Yeah,
it'd be a lot easier to get over here more often.
I think it's a slice of paradise, especially if we keep eating.
Yeah.
we think so too. We think so too.
That works out well.
Yeah, we think so too. And especially, I mean, you're lucky. You're from the West Coast. I mean, you could be back in the East Coast or the Midwest or something. They don't know where to put their snow at this point.
Oh no, at this point,
We just stay away.
We got to pay some bills, and when we come back, we only have time to say goodbye. But gentlemen, thank you. We'll be right back.